Good Packer Nation morning, everybody. Well, guys and dolls of Packer Nation, the Packers now are in the situation where all they have to do is win and they're in. So let's just get this done this week. It is Wednesday. All signs are pointing in the Packers' direction right now, I think. But this is going to be a tough matchup. Nobody is denying that at this point. Detroit Lions got spanked by the Cowboys on Monday night. I want to give a few shout-outs while you guys get on this morning. Let me know who you are, where you're coming at me from. We'll do a little Packer Nation roll call. But I want to give a shout-out to Trisha out there this morning, who is helping hold down the Packer Nation fort right here in Northeast Tennessee. So, Trisha, hi, good morning. I hope you're with today. Maurice is here, Keaton, and King Hall, if I'm reading that right, is here. Derek is on as well. There, Atreyu, good to see you, bud. I want to give a shout-out while we're doing it to my Fire Fan League, the folks that are kicking my butt and getting ready to take the Precious, our trophy, off my hand. It was really sad. I'm doing what? I had a good game, though. But Bryce, Peter, Jesse, and then I'm in fourth place, tied, I think, with Dustin or something like that. Hector, Terry, Keegan, Maurice. Everybody's still in it. Nelson is here. Corey is here. Martin is here as well. Anybody got a little love for Aaron Rodgers, NFC Offensive Player of the Week that just came out? He has been money since he said he thought this team could run the table. We're not closing it out, but we're going to continue it. This is running the table means more than just winning the North this week. Aaron Rodgers having a career year right now. He's got over 4,000 yards for the sixth time in his career. That's a franchise record. He's got 35 touchdowns already for the fourth time. Also a franchise record. And single season-wise, he's got 374 completions, which is also a season record, franchise record. Jerry says, win out, baby. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, when you look at this matchup coming up, of course, against the Detroit Lions. Well, one disclaimer, too, and I've got it marked here. Today's Wednesday. I missed yesterday, which is rare, but due to technical difficulties, I mean, if you can't get on the internet, you can't go live on Facebook. I guess that's just how it goes. So I apologize for missing you guys yesterday and missed doing the show. However, that means I've got a ton of stuff to talk about. But now today is Wednesday, so guess who's getting on? Mike McCarthy's getting on in about a half an hour. And I am always going to try to be deferential to the Packers podcast when they come out live. They've just started doing live broadcasts on Facebook. They probably caught my show and thought, well, geez, look at that handsome man. Let's get Mike McCarthy on there as well. This is a good idea. But at any rate, when this kicks on, I will close up and send you guys all over to Packers.com, their live feed, because I want to watch it too, and I know you do. So we're going to take care of that today. Pammy is here, says good morning from Ohio. Jared as well. I've missed practically. I'm getting behind on the feed. LB is in the house. All right, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, folks, this is going to be a big-time matchup. The Lions lost to the Cowboys. They needed to win one or the other game to make sure that they were in the playoffs. But this game, it doesn't matter because still this game is the NFC North Championship game. And how many times this is for like the fourth time in a row that this Week 17 matchup in the NFC North is for the championship. Packers winning 3 out of 4. Losing just the one last year, and I believe that this is the fourth. Then maybe, so we want to put another notch in Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy's long list of records right now. So how are we going to do it? That's the question. And this, you got to start. This game is going to start and finish with this quarterback matchup. Matthew Stafford feels like he was a Pro Bowl snub. He's been having a great season. Aaron Rodgers has turned it on of late. If you'll remember, during training camp, I said that Aaron Rodgers was going to have a career year this year. It is shaping up that way after a little bit of a sluggish start. And then, of course, no one could have predicted the Packers to absolutely lose any running game of any kind, to just completely be struggling to put a warm body in that spot that could hold down the fort at running back. Well, by and by, through that situation and through that problem, the Packers discovered, I believe, even though they say they had their eye on Ty Montgomery the whole time for his versatility. Well, I know that. But it is crystal clear to me that the Packers discovered Ty Montgomery as a running back through the situation with having both Eddie Lacy and James Starks miss significant time during the season and not having anyone to fill that gap. So the Packers now have a running game. We have a very multiple running game, and we're going to need it against the Detroit Lions. Packers are going to want to run the ball, but like I said, this is going to be a quarterback matchup. And frankly, this is at least the third game in a row now that Justin says, blowout game makes a statement to the NFL. Defense has 3 picks, Stafford of Stafford to show our defense is back. And that, I agree. I think that's definitely one of the keys, so I'm just going to play on that because it's a great comment, Justin. I'm not sure that this game is going to be a blowout. I hope it is. But those 3 interceptions, the Packers have gone from breaking even in the takeaway ratio to +7 in 3 games with 12 turnovers in that stretch. We need to keep it up. Dom Capers talked about this week. Packers against the Vikings, yes, we had a couple turnovers, but we also had a couple turnovers in our hands, interception-wise. We did not get our hands on the ball. We could have had a 4-turnover game against the Minnesota Vikings. We did not accomplish that. Still, I think Clay Matthews' strip sack of Sam Bradford was the turning point in this game. Great to have. Anybody got any love out there for Clay Matthews? Emoji me your thoughts. For Clay Matthews being healthy and playing like the Clay Matthews of old that we know and love. But yes, we need to keep that interception. We need to keep that turnover ratio going. It's going to be important against Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions. And let me just check really quick because let's see. Matt Stafford against the Cowboys, he was 26 of 46 for 260 yards, and he had no touchdowns and 1 interception. And that was a dominant performance by the time all was said and done. But listen up. Now, you guys watch the game. Recall. Let me clear that. You guys who watched the game, you recall, it was a tie game at the half. It was, the Lions scored 14 and then 7 in the second, and the Cowboys scored 7 and then 14 in the second, or vice versa. This game was not out of hand until the second quarter. The Dallas Cowboys came out, and their defense blanked the Lions. And Matthew Stafford, with that 1 interception, basically their team was taken completely out of contention in that game. So yes, great comment, and I think absolutely everyone agrees. We want to keep this train rolling. This turnover train has really helped. It was a turning point in the season. That Seattle Seahawks game had a lot to do, yes, with Aaron Rodgers, but it also had a lot to do with 5 interceptions and a fumble to close out the game. Packers need to keep that up. That was a turning point in this season, in my opinion, and it was the turning point in the game against the Vikings. We also know. So let's keep that going. Yeah. And of course the question then is, we are getting healthier at the outside linebacker position. Clay Matthews looks better. We know Julius Peppers is going to understand the situation, hopefully play well, but we are not sure about this defensive backfield right now. And that's where, Clinton Dix, Morgan Burnett, very happy to have them back there, and knock on wood, hope they can stay healthy because we are definitely going to need those two. That tandem is the best group we've got out there. The cornerback situation has become more than a little bit of a problem, not only with the injuries, but also with some poor play. And the Packers have seen teams. I said this from the beginning. I said, Sam Bradford, my fear in that game was that the Packers are going to stop the run because then guys like Sam Bradford, and Dom Capers talked about his quick release. Clay Matthews talked about his quick release. He didn't think he was going to get there on time to make that strip sack. Well, guys, this is the same fear I have in this game. I know the Lions are going to want to ride Zach Zenner a little bit. They're going to want to be balanced. Jim Bob Cooter is going to want to be balanced in this game. He wanted to be balanced in the game against the Cowboys, but it plays to the Packers' strength. I don't expect that to work out too well for them. I hope it doesn't. And then what happens, because again, this game is going to come down to a quarterback matchup, I believe, between Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers. And Matthew Stafford has a bevy of receivers around here that concerns me considering the cornerback situation. Ladarius Gunter, is he going to be available? We'll get an injury report later today. And then Demarius Randall and Rollins with up and down play. And I saw all three of those guys blow coverage in the game against the Vikings. So this has me concerned, and I hope that the coaches are going over some extra game film, and frankly, it just came down to fundamentals as far as I saw. And Todd's asking, what about Gunter? Will he play? I expect that he'll play, but again, we don't know. Now, the game has been flexed in case you are, had your head in the sand or something, or just didn't catch the news. The game has been flexed to the primetime slot. It will be a night game. Night game at Ford Field. And the Packers have been very successful under Coach McCarthy. I think they've won, Aaron Rodgers has won 12 of 15, and Mike McCarthy, I've got it here somewhere, but Mike McCarthy has won, the vast majority of the games against the Detroit Lions in Detroit. But we all know that these games have come down to a Hail Mary, and also that the Detroit Lions have been able to beat the Packers at Lambeau, no less, in the recent past. And so this is not going to be an easy game by any stretch. However, if I match it up, and guys, you can just emoji me your thoughts. If I match it up, I'm saying the same blasted thing that I said against the Vikings. I don't think the Lions have enough. All right, let's run it down. Just emoji me your thoughts on this. Who would you take? Aaron Rodgers or Matthew Stafford? I'm not taking away anything from any of them, but Aaron Rodgers is not only better. I would give the nod to Aaron Rodgers regardless. But look at the tear that Aaron Rodgers is on right now. And this guy pulled this team together. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers all day long. Now, let me ask you this, because let's go maybe to coaching staff. I take Mike McCarthy over Caldwell. He's a good coach. But did you guys catch what Terry Bradshaw said? Emoji me your thoughts on this, Packer Nation. That if he had to choose between Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy, he would take Mike McCarthy hands down. He would take the great coach over the quarterback. He would take Mike McCarthy over Aaron Rodgers. Any thoughts on that out there today? Because, Terry Bradshaw, geez, he is just opening his trap all the time right now. And I got some angry faces out there. Virginia says he's an idiot. I knew there would be some thoughts. Richard says we usually play well on the road, and I agree. There have been times when I've said we're a better road team than a home team, last year being one of them. At times this year. And yes, LB, we gave some shout-outs for Aaron Rodgers, who won earlier in the show, who won Offensive Player of the Week in the NFC. Here's what we want to see next. We want to see NFC North champion Aaron Rodgers. We want to see NFC champion Aaron Rodgers, and we want to see Super Bowl champion Aaron Rodgers, and we want to see Super Bowl MVP Aaron Rodgers, and we want to see league MVP Aaron Rodgers at that point. So anyway, you match up, I would take Aaron Rodgers over Stafford. Now, the running game, again, of the Lions has been serviceable, but they've struggled. It's not as bad as the Vikings, however. So we are going to have to be ready. We know they're going to feed, Zenner's going to be in that, had a good game against the Cowboys. But the fact of the matter being, by the time the game was done, he couldn't be a factor. And Slay is injured, was not available for the Cowboys game. Now, will he be available again? We're going to find that out. I'm expecting that to be a game time decision. Darius Slay with the hamstring injury. Now that, even if he plays but he's not 100%, may factor into this game. The Pro Bowl alternate is Slay, and the best cornerback that the Detroit Lions have. Now, if they can't put him on the field, it's good. What are they going to do against Jordy Nelson? Because, listen, if I had to put the Packers wide receiver core against a fully functional Detroit Lions defensive backfield, I'm taking the Packers wide receiver core against the Lions. I think it's a nod to the Packers. I really, I look at it and our defense is more dangerous than theirs, I believe. Their front four is doing well, playing good ball. But so is ours. We've got a good rotation, and I think we're getting healthier. The running back situation for the Packers, I'm going to give the nod to the Packers on this one. Of course, we took a step back in some regard at Lambeau against the Vikings, but we knew that because the Vikings are an incredible team against the run. They're terrible on offense. Their run game is awful, but they're good against the run. But is it not good on this Wednesday morning to know that we have put the Vikings to rest? They are going home to their couches, and it's time to pick up those Detroit Lions and finish them off as well. Lions can still get in even if the Packers beat them, but they can't win the North at that point, which is the beauty of it all, and that guarantees the Packers their position in the playoffs pretty much. I'm giving this one to the Packers. The one thing, like I said, there's a couple things that still bother me about this game. One, I already mentioned, that Matthew Stafford is dangerous, and our defensive backfield has been a real sore spot from time to time. However, I've also said that our defense from time to time is able to shut teams out in the second half. We haven't seen it for a while. Obviously, the Bears game is the most recent addition to that, to the opposite being the case. But it is possible. Our offense, on the other hand, has also been able to not show up from time to time, but I believe in Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to get it done. We've got to keep winning the turnover battle. We've got to keep our own possession of the football solid. But I'm concerned about Matthew Stafford throwing the ball around. We know the struggles we've had against tight ends. We know the struggle. Now the Packers have done a better job against number one receivers since about the time we played the Atlanta Falcons. We've done better. However, second and third wide receivers then have become an issue because we're such a revolving door at cornerback right now, not knowing if Gunter's going to play. So we'll see how that happens. And guys, come Friday, it's going to be time for Prediction Friday to put it on the line. I'm working up to it. I've got tons of stuff I want to say about these Lions, but I know we're running short of time here. Maurice says Lions were scared about Rodgers. I think, and maybe you were listening to the press conferences, and maybe that's where the comment came from, Maurice. I don't know, but I was listening to the Lions press conferences, and this was, of course, after the Cowboys game, so they're going to look a little dejected anyway. But they knew these guys had it. Okay, can I get a thumbs up for the Lions just having a deer in the headlights look? They're just like, okay, we just got trounced by the Cowboys. Whew. Okay, what's next? Oh, yeah, we got the Packers. We get to play at home. But it's the Packers. We got Aaron Rodgers coming to town. We got Clay Matthews coming to town. We got Julius Peppers coming to town. A little love for Mike Daniels, I'm sure. Hey, I got a little love for Kenny Clark. I got a little love in my heart for Kenny Clark right now, who came on strong in the game against the Vikings. He is developing that Mike Daniels attitude. As his technique comes along, he's shown some athletic ability in the game against the Vikings. Some ability to pursue down the line. And I'm interested in that guy. We've seen Dean Lowry come on of late. And we know we've got two great safeties, which is incredibly important. And I'm going to add to that, guys. I know I'm stepping out on a limb here, but I'm going to add to that. Remember the excitement over Randall and Rollins last year. These are guys that, hey, they have certainly not been perfect. At times, they have looked bad, to be honest. Gunter, but there have been games, and last year in particular, where they were money. And I'm expecting them to prepare and get their heads in this game. It's time, as I think Kevin Green once said. Ladarius Gunter as well. Physical guy, long-limbed at the line of scrimmage. He can be tough. He's had his good games and his bad games. It's time to have all good games, guys, for this cornerback situation. And Troy says Gunter's been rough. It's a pretty good characterization, I think. But it's time to get it together, right? I think we can all agree on that. It is time to get it together. If the Packers cornerback situation, if the Packers cornerbacks start playing to the capability that we know that they can, This could be a dominant win. I don't expect this to be a dominant win. I do think that Matthew Stafford is a dangerous quarterback. I think their wide receiver core is really on the same page. I think losing Megatron has made the Lions and Matthew Stafford better. We've seen this happen in the past. You lose a superstar. This may have been true when Sterling Sharp left the Green Bay Packers. A great player goes, but then the quarterback knows you have to throw to the open guy. Matthew Stafford is playing the quarterback position pretty well. I mean, he stumbled of late, all right? And he is fallible. And right now, I think Aaron Rodgers' tear continues at this point. Sandy says the Packers are going to win this one. All right, why don't we just thumbs up? Let's just do a Go Pack Go right now, guys, if you think the Packers are going to get her done. Thumbs up, heart me, whatever. It's Wednesday. It's almost time for Coach McCarthy's press conference. We'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow. It's hashtag run the table time. Actually, I was going to start the show with hashtag run the table today. But thank you, Jay, for bringing it up. And it's time to run the table. And run the table now it's always one game at a time, but now it means so much more than just winning the North. But we got to do it. First things first. No chance to stumble. I've said this for a couple weeks now. We got no chance to stumble. We'll keep an eye on Darius Slay, whether he's going to be able to play or not. We mentioned the turnovers going to be extremely important. Extremely important, I think, in this game. Troy says, last 5 weeks we've been set a table. Now let's run the Lions off the table. I like it, my friend. Well said. And I think a lot of people out there agree. All right, folks. Well, I am going to let you guys go and get ready for the Mike McCarthy press conference. And I will be doing this, every Wednesday. They started, especially since it's not as easy for me to notice them when they're not, when I don't have it on the computer, or since they've just recently started going live on Facebook, as far as I know. But now that it's going live on Facebook, I can pretty much just send most of you guys over. Those of you who have your entire morning, or I know some of you got your morning yourself. Maybe it's your day off. You're having a little extra coffee break or whatever. Phil's got a great question. Do I like Michaels in the return game? And the answer is yes. He did. He muffed that one to the ground, but he had a really nice one-handed, sure-handed snag. And I like that he is sudden and he gets going north and south. A couple things that bother me is right now we're having some success with Micah Hyde as a veteran in the punt return, and I think I think that's important. And I think the reason I think it's important is we've got veteran guys. Of course, Randall Cobb. We got to talk about Randall Cobb. We can't not talk about Randall Cobb before we go today. But to have those veteran guys in him, I think, is important. But I like the way Michaels has handled it. We got a rookie back there, and we got a guy that wasn't with us in training camp, and we know we've got a guy that there is the possibility of mistakes in that return game. But Coach was saying it this week. The most important thing for a return guy is for them to want to do it, and Christian Michael wants to do it, guaranteed. I mean, he's still trying to find himself a niche on the team. He wants to have a spot, next year, whenever that comes. Next year isn't for a long time for us, isn't well into 2017, cheers. But I do like it. I do like him. He gets north to south quick. The guy's sudden, and of course we saw in the game against the Bears, you get him in some open space, he can run away from people. It's pretty important. So yeah, I like it. Guys, before we go, all right, I'm gonna close the show with this. Let's give some love to Randall Cobb. They held him out, and to some extent you heard rumblings that they held him out because they wanted him for this Lions game. I think Randall Cobb comes back with a vengeance. I think it was the right thing to do. The question may have been asked. I didn't see anybody ask this question, but I would have expected it today. Was it the right thing to do? Well, hindsight's 20/20. Of course it was the right thing to do. We won against the Bears, or against the Vikings. But at any rate, the situation set now, Randall Cobb is going to be that much healthier. I know there's a lot of love for him out there, but he was struggling. He looked on the offensive side of the ball. He looked like Randall Cobb on the offensive side of the ball, looked like Clay Matthews on the defensive side of the ball. He's in there, but it didn't look like him. So it's going to be good to have Randall Cobb with an extra week of rest. We aren't going to have that situation until we go to the Super Bowl. And of course, like Todd is mentioning right now, which is a great comment, we got a good chance to see how good Geronimo Allison is as a backup. A guy that, if anything happens, heaven forbid, can help this team out. A couple fantastic catches. The guy is long, he's high-waisted, and he's got a little speed now. Could be important down the road for the Green Bay Packers. With as many games as we've had to play, this has been a crazy schedule, with a week 3 bye. Whatever it was, maybe it wasn't week 3. I think it was week 3. We've been playing a lot of games, and we're going to play some more. But I am very happy that we got through the game, against the Vikings, and now we'll get, hopefully, Randall Cobb back. All right, and I'll throw this out as we close because it's time to let you guys go because we're going to flip over to the Packers. I'm going to flip over and watch them live. But Carrie Fisher passes away. George Michael as well. It's been kind of a rough end of 2016, so 2017 is going to be better in a whole lot of ways. One of them being, the Packers going to bring another Lombardi home, as far as I'm concerned. Well, you folks, thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great day. It's Wednesday. We're rolling into a weekend. Some more Packer football. We got to wait till the late game. But that also says we're going to get to see the situation very clearly with all the Week 17 matchups, finishing up, and then the Packers getting on the field, taking on the Detroit Lions, and sending them home, hopefully, come Sunday night. Here's to Aaron Rodgers. Here's to Mike McCarthy getting a great game plan ready. This defense getting healthier. The quarterback situation, them getting solid again. A lot of pressure, a lot of picks, and a lot of scoring by the Packers offense come Sunday night. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Same pack time, same pack place. Go Pack.